So hi beautiful people, wherever you're joining me from, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm super excited to have you back on board. This is Shalom Speaks, where every opinion matters. My name is Sheila Shalom, and this is just a channel where we have heartfelt conversations. We speak about anything and everything that basically affects us, not only as youth, but things that are taking place in our environs. So if you are new, welcome. If you are a returning subscriber, manze, thank you. You are the people who keep me going. You're the people who motivate me. If you are new, just kindly make sure to subscribe, to hit the notification bell, to share this video that it might be able to reach as many people as possible. Apparently, we were doing a series on childhood trauma, and just to give us a summary of what we went through, we were just tackling signs of childhood trauma the other episode. And I remember we discussed types of childhood trauma. I remember we talked about physical neglect, we spoke about physical abuse, we spoke about sexual abuse, we spoke about lack of emotional affections, just to mention but a few. And today, as I promised you, we are going to journey together in the second episode of childhood trauma, which is just a continuation, because we were to look at the signs that you are a victim of childhood trauma, and then we had to look at how childhood trauma affects you as an adult, and then finally we had to look at rising above childhood trauma. And so I remember we defined childhood trauma. We said it's when a child witnesses negative events which basically tend to be overwhelming to them. And I remember we really discussed at length. And so today we're going to look at how childhood trauma affects one as an adult. So number one is that a person who is a victim of childhood trauma tends to be so aggressive and impulsive. An aggressive person is a person who is always ready to attack. It can be verbal attack, it can be a physical attack. And why do these people behave in such a manner? This is because while growing up, they saw some things. And let me just take you back to an example that we gave during the other episode. For instance, a child is coming from a place or from a family where physical abuse is the order of the day. There is no way you can expect this child to be so free when they grow up to a place of an adult with the people who are around them, unless they have gone through the steps of healing and they have accepted healing themselves. So we tend to find that such people basically are always ready to attack, and it's because they view this as the best way to be able to defend themselves. And then another thing, if childhood trauma is not dealt with, one can easily contemplate suicide or self-harm. Why? Because these things keep on coming back to you. They keep on tormenting you as a result of PTSD. And we get that a person is likely to get to a point where they feel, what is the reason of living? Why am I even living in the first place? If childhood trauma is not dealt with, a person as an adult is likely to be a victim of constant depression. And this is because of critical stress. If you keep on carrying things over and over, let me say maybe you are a victim of sexual abuse and you did not deal with it. You are a victim of physical neglect and you did not deal with it. These things are likely to reoccur in your life. And when they reoccur, you find that you become mentally unstable. And that is where we get the aspect of depression coming in, where you no longer have the interest of doing things that used to give you pleasure initially. You tend to withdraw totally and just let everything be. Another thing is anxiety. These people tend to be in a place where they are very much afraid of what the future entails, because they are still traumatized. This is something that was recorded in their minds when they were still young, and so they are yet to fully recover from the trauma. And so every time something happens or they are said to do something, they basically tend to hold back because they are not certain. They are afraid. It can be linked to how they think other people will view them. And then another thing is that these people suffer from PTSD, and by PTSD basically I mean post-traumatic stress disorder. This is characterized by failing to recover from past ordeals, and this thing actually is recorded in your brain, where you find that every now and then it is triggered through nightmares, through dreams, just to mention but a few. And so, like, I just felt it necessary for us to talk through these points. Actually, there are so many ways that childhood trauma can affect you as an individual or can affect you in your family, but these are just the ones that are highly ranked, the ones that are common in our midst, and it is easy for you to spot a person who is a victim of childhood trauma with these characteristics. I feel like we have done justice to how childhood trauma affects, and let me just know, comment in the comment section, let me know your opinion. Do you feel that you've ever been a victim of childhood trauma? And if you are able to rise above it, how are you able to rise above it, and so on? Because this is a journey where you have to go one step after the other to be able to fully overcome. So thank you very much for always coming. I really appreciate those who suggested the topics that we should be doing, and immediately after this episode we are going to tackle mental health, we are going to tackle LGBTQ problems and issues, and we are going to talk about forgiveness. We've done the second bit of it, and the third episode is going to be very, very interesting, because we are basically going to tackle how to rise above childhood trauma. So tell a friend to come and watch this video. If you know a friend who is a victim of childhood trauma, you can always recommend them. Above this all, Jesus Christ loves you, and yeah, let us just continue spreading the good news of salvation. So thank you. I love you, beautiful people. Thank you, and bye.